epiphanies. Moves calculated and orchestrated like symphonies. Smooth operated when bringing haters the misery. Top 5 list ain't shit unless you mention me. Yeah. That's why we don't associate. Fuck niggas make them more fuck niggas. Why they procreate? Why they overhate? Cause they time is short and a moment late. Let it culminate to they heart erase and it palpitate. Cowards perpetrate like they little group is respectable. Talking intellectual. All of you homosexuals. Faggots.
There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children.
I don't want to congregate. I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to fellowship. I ain't trying to build with you. Ain't the UPK, ain't the truth. Keep it real with you. Defenders of the faith, I got no problem bumping heads with you. All that bullshit, you can take it over there with you. Rather be a houseboy. Rather run with them field niggas. Show them to put in work. Move mountain, crush hills, nigga. Take a dead soul. Breathe life and make it live, nigga. No affiliation, so it's no one to compare with us. Took the Lord's laws and just added it with fear, nigga. Aim for the body, cause you know like killer hit quicker. With these bars, I'm on my grizzly, so bear witness. You spit cold, I spit flu. Don't compare sickness. You floss diamond, I floss fringe. Don't compare dentist. You PK, we meant the war shit. We ain't Christian. Harm one of us, get pistol whipped like the gun got a belt with it. I'm bred different. The competition just a mill. I'm fed different. I stood front line on them fields. I bled different. I'd rather be a corpse than a coward. I'm led different. Shit, I'm led different. Come through like a juggernaut, so don't get in the way. And we take everything serious. We don't play. I wonder now what they gon' say. Shit, we make profits out of shooters like the NBA. You get slayed for switching sides, nigga. We ain't on the same page. Immaculate conception. Wow. These niggas bitch made. I'm sticking with the foundation where my bricks laid. You switch sides, I'd rather switch K's. You was never with us, nigga. Just know we on mission, nigga. Right hand hold the scriptures, nigga. Left hip hold the pistol, nigga. How you want it? You can get it spiritual or physics, nigga. Wrong ones to come against, so bring an army with you. No affiliation. When you see us, make the difference with us. No affiliation. When you see us, know we different, nigga. No affiliation, so no, you can't kick it with us. The wrong ones to come against, bring an army with you.
All we need is a RDI cable. Well, we should get the wireless. Yeah, we should get the wireless though.
Where the soldiers at? Where the soldiers at? Where the soldiers at? Where the soldiers at? Where the black men get together by the thousands and say, enough is enough. We ain't be killing each other no more.
I woke up today in reality, looking at my people and the casualties. Misunderstood for having some morality, but my people there in spirituality, Lord knows. Just a young Hebrew from Killer, California. Used to thug in the street with no sense of order. Used to love to press the line, even test the water, and almost lost my life from slanging and hanging on that corner. I learned to cut the grass so I could see the snakes. I had to decipher between the real and fake. And nowadays all these niggas do is hate. Treat you like a bitch, sit back and try to manipulate. Yeah, that's why I got it on my own too. You see me rocking with the Hebrews. UPK is how we do. Stand for the Lord, the mother niggas is see-through.
Where the soldiers at? Where the soldiers at? Where the soldiers at?
Wake your game up, my nigga. Ain't no time for this shit. I know you sitting back thinking that life is a bitch. Yes, my nigga, I understand. My nigga, I feel your pain.
Yeah.
My nigga, we gotta change. This for the cane, this for the cane.
It's safe to say we curse today, trying to find another way, but all they do is take away. Trying to pray the fake away while trying to find a safer way. Eat so we can face to face. Please, Lord, save the day, cause everybody at my job always got some shit to say. You might think this shit is crazy, but I deal with this every day. Knowing that we paved the way, I had it up they hit today. Listen to the shit to say, make me wanna catch this case or even let they face away. But I like a slave. Wanna see me in the grave. Hate to see a nigga brave. Hate to see a nigga brave. It's hard at my job, but I'll be too wide. Knowing that this cracker's gon' get it, no problem. It's hard at my job, but I'll be too wide. Knowing that this cracker's gon' get it, no problem.
Wake your game up, my nigga. Ain't no time for this shit. I know you sitting back thinking that life is a bitch. Yes, my nigga, I understand. My nigga, I feel your pain. My nigga, we gotta change. This for the king, this for the king.
Whenever you ready.
Yo, man, check this shit out, man. Check this out. Out there just like you out there in the street, man. The street. You know what I'm saying? That's for our people out here, man. Yeah. Waking you up from the grave, man. It's 1969. Blacks, Hispanics, Natives, Indian. Check me out, though. Dead man walking. Bullet shots unguided. Same poverty.
Any man give his life for Yahweh Shai, Mashiach, and Christ, and fall up under that UPK banner. It's my brother and my blood, and I will die and kill for him if necessary. It's all about that warfare, boy. Back up. It's all about that warfare, boy. My soldiers take grip till I'm stand down. Take grip. My soldiers take grip till I'm stand down. Take grip. Now this ain't no movement, this is a takedown. We will not be moved or intimidated. We ain't.
All right, go ahead.
Shalom, Israel. We the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the commanding General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth since 1969. And what is that truth? That truth is the so-called blacks, the so-called Hispanics, and the so-called Native Indians are the true Jews of the Bible, and the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Tonight is history class. We're going to get into a little bit of history. We're going to get into a little bit of scriptures. We're going to put some stuff together. And we're going to make it happen for our brothers and sisters hopefully give enough information to bring our brothers and sisters together. Tonight, we're going to get into our brothers, the so-called natives and Hispanics. A lot of us, and I'm not speaking of the brothers in the UPK, but a lot of our brothers don't believe that the so-called Hispanics and natives are our brothers. The so-called natives and the Hispanics are our brothers. They went through the same, everything that we went through, the slave ships, the lynchings, and all of these things. All those, the Hispanics and the natives went through the same things, you know what I mean? And we're gonna bring some of that out tonight. I wanna pull up that first article with the Mayan slave ships. That's what we want to get into. We want to talk about that. And before we talk about that, let's go to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, and let's get into some scripture. Deuteronomy, 28th chapter. We want to hit that. We want to get into the that first verse, Deuteronomy 28:1. The reason why we want to get into that, the reason why we going through what we're going through, and the reason why the natives and the Hispanics went through what they went through was because we were being disobedient. And anytime we are disobedient, there comes consequences with being disobedient. The Most High is our Father. You understand what I'm saying? And just like a good father, when you don't listen, you don't follow the instructions of your father, there comes consequences. And we are in this captivity that we in because we didn't follow good instruction. We didn't follow truth. We didn't follow the law, statutes, and commandments. And this is the reason why we in the predicament that we in right now. A lot of, like I said before, a lot of us from the tribe of Judah, we don't think that the so-called natives and the Hispanics are our brothers, but we're going to show that the natives and the Hispanics are our brothers too, because they went through the same slavery, they're going through the same slavery. Everything that we went through, they went through. So we got that?
Okay.
Go ahead, read that for me.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
It says, it shall come to pass. That means this is going to happen. If thou shalt hearken diligently unto the Lord thy God. If we listen to what the Most High says, these are the things that's going to happen. Go ahead.
To observe and to do all his commandments.
It says to observe and do all his commandments. Now, the Christian church like to say that, you know, the law was done away with. Where we read clearly right here in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1, and it says that we are to, if we hearken diligently and do all his commandments. It didn't say half, it didn't say some, it didn't say a little bit or whatever you can do. It says do all his commandments. Go ahead.
Which I command thee this day.
It says, which I command thee this day. What does that mean? It means these are what you're supposed to do right now, immediately. It ain't no time out. It ain't no hold up. It ain't no let me take my time and nothing. We're supposed to be doing this right now. Go ahead.
That the Lord thy God will set thee on high.
He said he will set us on high. You understand? He will make sure that we are. Go ahead, finish that. Read that. Finish that.
Above all nations of the
He
earth.
says we will be above all nations of the earth. Let me ask a question, right? What is our condition today? What is our condition? Can anybody tell me what our condition is? Our condition is not being above all nations upon the face of the earth. As you can clearly see, we on the bottom of every nation. Every nation that comes over here is above us. And it's the same thing with the natives. It's the same thing with the Hispanics. Every nation that comes over here is above us. We are the footstool of every nation. The Chinese come over here and they have every corner store. The East Indians come over, they got every Dunkin' Donuts. You understand? The Arabs come over here and they got every chicken shop. You understand? And we own nothing in our own neighborhoods. The reason why we don't own anything in our own neighborhood is because of what? Because we don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Now we know as Judah that we are in a so-called slavery. We are in slavery. This ain't so-called slavery. We are in slavery. But just as we are in slavery, so is the Native Indians and so is the Hispanics. Think about this, right? Even just looking at the Hispanics being at the border. Everything that's happening to them at the border happened to us. Their families are being broken up. Their men are being killed and murdered. The women are being raped and everything at the border. It was the same thing when we came over here. It's the same thing that's happening to the Native Indians on the reservation. Their families are being raped. Let's go back a little further. Even when Christopher Columbus came over here in 1492, he stole, he raped, and he pillaged the Taino Indians. He took 1,100 back. When he got back to Spain, he only ended up in Spain with how many? 300. 300? Am I right about that? About 300. You understand? And he said that was good business. You understand? He said that was good business because he didn't look at them as being human. He looked at them as being cargo. A little bit falls out, you lose some. As long as you get back with some, you make money. They didn't look at them as human. That's the same way they looked at us when they brought us over here on the cargo slave ships. You understand what I'm saying? So everything that we went through, and we're going to go through it, everything that we went through, they went through. Everything that we are going through right now, they're going through right now. Their families are being destroyed. Their history is being totally wiped out. You understand? Think about what's happening to the Hispanics at the border. Their families are being broken up. The children are being sent over to God knows who to be molested and brainwashed into the good old American way. You understand? Let's go to Deuteronomy 28. Let's just drop down to the 15 verse.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
It says, but it shall come to pass, this is what's going to happen, if thou wilt not hearken, if you will not listen unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Go ahead.
To observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
Do all his commandments and his statutes, which he commands us this day. Read.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Go ahead.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Check this out. It says, cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Just like the tribe of Judah, we feel like we being destroyed in the city, which we are being destroyed in every city, in every major city in this set in Egypt, in this Babylon. You understand? In this captivity that we're in, every major city, we are being destroyed. We are being ground into powder. You understand? We are being destroyed in the city. And the thing is they have our people so mesmerized that we believe that, well, if we can get up out of this city, if we can get up out of this condition, if we can make a little bit of money, if we can move out where so-called oppressor lives at, then we can live a better life. We think we can live a better life, but look at what happened to LeBron James. You understand? LeBron James lives, he got that big house. I don't know where he got it at. But they came out to LeBron James' house, what was that, last year or the year before, and painted nigger on his house, right? No matter where you go at, no matter how much you think you got, they always remind you that you are still a nigger. You understand? So, no matter how far up you think you are on the totem pole, you still at the bottom of the totem pole. We always gonna be at the bottom of the totem pole because we refuse to follow the law, statutes, and commandments that the Most High has given us. We don't understand that. A lot of us don't understand that the destruction and that we are going through. You understand? The way we being pillaged, robbed, raped, and murdered, just like it's being done to the so-called Negro, it's being so-called done to the Hispanic too. You understand? So the Hispanics go through the same thing. Their families are totally being destroyed. Just when they think they out of hell, they fall right back into it. We can never get out of hell unless we come back to the Most High. And that's the thing that we don't understand. What's even worse than that is that we don't realize that we are brothers. You understand? We think we are from different sects or different tribes or different families. But the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are all the same family. I mean, look at what's happening to the Native Indians. Their land was taken right from under them, and then they were placed on reservations. So what is a reservation? A reservation is nothing but a concentration camp. And they got it just as worse as anybody else because our oppressor makes them think that they do have land when they don't have land at all. They can't do what they want. They have to go get permission to build on the land that was always theirs. How can somebody take something from you that had already belonged to you, give it back to you, and tell you you can't do what you want with it unless you get permission from them? That's hell right there. Being in cages at the border, that's hell right there. You understand? 2 million brothers in jail in a penal system. That's hell right there. We all going through the same hell. We got to understand that we are brothers. We are brothers and we have to come back together. The only way we're going to make it through this hell is if we come back together. You understand? We are destroyed in the city. We are destroyed in the field. In the suburbs, no matter where you go at, we are destroyed people. Go ahead.
I'll go to the next verse.
Go to the next verse.
Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kin, and the flocks of thy sheep.
Cursed shall be thy fruit of thy body. What is the fruit of thy body? What is the fruit of thy body? The fruit of thy body is your children. You understand? That's the fruit of our body. Look at what's happening to our children. Our children are being murdered right there in front of our eyes. And it's nothing that we can do about it. You understand what I'm saying? When you are that helpless, that is a curse. It's happening to the Native Indians. Matter of fact, on the reservations, they find dead young girls all the time on these reservations. You understand what I'm saying? They said they had the oppressor got come up into the reservation in motorcycle gangs and just had their way with the women on these reservations. You understand? They just found the boat last year was what? 72 children that were missing. That never even made the news. You understand what I'm saying? It never even made the news. It never made the news because those were our children. You understand? Things like that. This oppressor could care less about us. You understand? And this is the reason why we have to come back together. Zephaniah 2:1 says what? Gather yourselves together, yea, gather yourself together, O nation, not desire. The Most High knows that these people do not desire us. And he tells us the only way that we're going to survive this oppression is if we come together. You can't just come together. Some of you come together here, and some come together there. We all have to gather together. We have to come together as one. But not only do we have to come together as one, but we have to be on one accord. And the way you come together as one accord is if you get into this Isupk under command of General Yohana. That's the way it happens. You understand what I'm saying? But this is the reason why we get out there on those Saturdays and we speak to our people, trying to bring our people back. You understand? This oppressor, I guess it's a thing where we've been so brainwashed in being in this American way that a lot of people don't realize that first, that they are slaves. And second, that we are being systematically destroyed. You understand what I'm saying? And because we don't recognize it, and because, you all right?
If you could pull that mic a little bit closer to you.
That's it right there. And because we don't recognize that we being systematically destroyed, because we in a trance, if I could say that. We in a trance. We've been so hypnotized and mesmerized by America that we naturally think that we are American. We think that Constitution was made for us. And this is the reason why we want to get out. We want to go vote. Listen, we've been voting since 1965. Actually, they got was it 1925 or 1930 when they allowed blacks to vote? But they wouldn't allow them to vote. And in 1965, with the Civil Rights Act, they were allowed to vote. We've been voting for 55 years. And from 1965 all the way up until 2020, was it changed without condition. Even you got the Hispanics coming across the border trying to get, they're trying to become citizen or get citizenship so that they can vote, and try to change their condition. When we've been here since the beginning, we've been enslaved. So-called Negroes have been enslaved for over 400 years, and voting has gotten us nowhere. And they got our brothers, the Hispanics, thinking that if they get across the border and they get citizenship, they can vote and change their condition when they put you in the same category as us. A lot of our Hispanic brothers think that the white man is for them, but the white man is terribly against them. You understand? I was working out at a spot out of Jessup, and they had the Hispanic brothers working at night at the factory. And I remember one night when I was sitting in there working, a guy came through and told them that immigration was coming the next day. And when I came in the next day, none of the Hispanic brothers showed up. You understand what I'm saying? Not only did they not show up, but I found out that they was only making half of the money that I was making. You understand what I'm saying? So my thing is our oppressor uses them and makes them think that he's for them. Matter of fact, let's grab that Psalm 55 and 21. About the shop. Grab that Psalm 55 and 21.
Psalms 55 and verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
It says the words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
The
words of his mouth were smoother than butter, man. The words of his mouth makes you think that he's for you. He can lull you to sleep with his words. His words are smooth enough to get you nice and comfortable, get you nice and cozy. but his words are smoother than butter. They lull you to sleep. Go ahead.
But war was in his heart.
But war is actually the thing that's in his heart. Whenever the oppressor or this devil speaks to you, he speaks to you in a way to lull you to sleep, when war is always in his heart. To use you to his advantage is always in his heart. That's how the native Indians got destroyed when the European came over here. You understand what I'm saying? He wrote what they had like over 177 peace treaties with the native Indians, and they broke every treaty. The words of their mouth are smoother than butter. The native Indian says, white men speak with forked tongue. This is because anything that comes out of his mouth, he means the opposite of what he says. If anything sounds good, it's not good. You understand what I'm saying? Destruction is in his heart. Murder is in his heart. You know, pillaging is in his heart. Rape, robbery, and murder, that is all he has. You understand? And he lulls our brothers and our sisters to sleep with the words of his mouth. And then as soon as they get comfortable with him, he destroys them. This is just what he does. You understand what I'm saying? There's nothing good about our oppressor. You understand? But we continue to believe in him. You understand? The words of his mouth are smoother than butter. This is the reason why you got so many black people thinking that the conditions that we are in right now, all we have to do is go out there and vote. We think voting is going to change. Is all of a sudden, you mean to tell me all of a sudden, somebody after all of these years of being destroyed, is somebody that's going to come along and then change our condition? All of a sudden, a white man who didn't like you and Joe Biden, all of a sudden he's going to come back. He had a change of heart. All of a sudden he had a change of heart. And now he wants to come and rescue us. The words of his mouth are smoother than butter. Every time you hear on the news or on these commercials, oh, he's going to do this, and he's going to make things even, and he's going to change the conditions. The words of his mouth is smoother than butter. But you can best believe that war is in his heart. He already showed his hand. He already showed that he didn't like black people. But I don't know what it is about the words. This European, this oppressor, can say a few words out of his mouth and have black people partying in the street thinking that something's going to change. Have Hispanics in the street partying like something's going to change. Nothing is going to change about our oppressor. Nothing's going to change him. You understand? And then you got people saying, well, you gotta choose the lesser of two evils. Why not choose either one of them? Why vote? You're gonna be destroyed either way. Why vote? I mean, think about this, right? What's the difference between a fox and a wolf? Because on the Republican side with Trump, that's a straight wolf. The wolf's appetite is the same as the fox's appetite. Joe Biden is nothing but a fox. He's making you think that he's not going to kill you. Trump just tells you straight up, I'm going to kill you. So now you choose Biden. Biden just is rocking you to sleep, and he's going to destroy you. It's just a fox and a wolf. Both of them have the same appetite. Just like the left and the right wing, right? What's the difference between the left and the right wing? They both go together to make the same bird. You understand? Left and the right wing is nothing but the same bird. And at the end of the day, when a bird flies, both of them wings work together to fly. You understand what I'm saying? Both of that left and that right, that Republican and that Democrat, gonna work together to destroy you, regardless of at the end of the day what happens. The only difference is one wants to control everything. That's it. Nobody trying to help us at the end of the day. We just a destroyed people. We are destroyed people because we don't follow the law. The Most High told us not to make marriage with them. not to give your sons to their daughters, or not to take your sons unto their daughters. You understand what I'm saying? Making marriage is voting too. When you marrying into this society, we marrying into this world right here. You understand? We're knowing that this world is not the world that we supposed to be intermingling with. When you voting, you're marrying yourself to this society. You understand? And the Most High told us not to make marriage with him. But we continue to go against what the Most High tells us. And the only way we're going to come up out of this is if we stick together. We have to come together and do what we have to do and to help our own. Think about it, right? The drug epidemic has been destroying our people since before I was born. From the 60s into the 70s, all the way through the crack epidemic in the 80s, all the way through heroin in the 90s, and through this, synthetic weed that's destroying brothers in the street in the 2000s. Our people are being destroyed. And all of a sudden, when this opioid thing comes, we gotta help these people on opioids. We gotta help these people on opioids because now is their people being destroyed. You understand what I'm saying? We keep feeling like we are a part of this society when we are not a part of this society. This society, this Constitution was not made for us. The Constitution of the United States clearly states that we are only 3/5 of a human being, not even counted as a whole human. Mostly we count it as what? Equipment, that's it. Something breaks, you get rid of it, buy another one. That's how they look at us. They die, hire another one, replace them. You understand what I'm saying? We are destroyed people that think that this Constitution includes us. Our Constitution is the scriptures. You understand? We have to come back to the law. You understand? We have to disassociate ourselves. We have to move away from them. And when we say we have to move away from them, that doesn't mean we have to go to a whole new country. But listen, the Chinese people live right here amongst us, but they are not of the United States. The Arabs are right here in the United States, but are not of the United States. They do not come out and vote. They do not come out and elect anybody to be above them. They control their own communities. And this is what the Most High tells us we are supposed to do. We're supposed to be controlling our own community. We're supposed to be owning the stores in our own community. But we refuse to do that because we don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments. And the scriptures tell us that if we don't hearken unto the voice of the Lord, if we don't hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, we will suffer. And that's what's happening to us right now. We suffer because we want to be hard-headed. We want to be that hard-headed child. And because we want to be that hard-headed child, this is the things that we go through.
You want the rest of that scripture?
Go ahead, give me the rest of that.
His words were smoother than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
Listen, his words were smoother than oil, yet they were drawn swords. Listen, as good as it sounds, as great as it sounds, this Biden, the thing is he's waiting for his opportunity to destroy us. His words, listen, everything that he says is to lull us back to sleep. You understand what I'm saying? The so-called President Trump, kind of awakened or half awakened a sleeping giant. And the only thing the Democrats are trying to do is to lull that giant back to sleep. You see what happened when the coronavirus hit, right? When the coronavirus hit, because we are the engine that keeps this United States motoring along, Once that coronavirus hit and people had to stop working, all of a sudden their economy began to collapse. Their economy began to collapse because we are the major cog in the economy. And when we don't work, they don't get paid. When we don't work, their empire begins to crumble. Their empire began to crumble, so they had to do the thing that they had to do to get their empire to stop from crumbling. So they opened everything back up, which is going to destroy more people, because this is the way the Most High made it. This is a plague that the Most High sent. Our oppressor does not understand it. But as we continue to follow behind our oppressor, this plague is going to destroy us just like it's doing their oppressor. It's going to destroy us even more because of why? Because of us following our oppressors. We have all of these underlying diseases that this plague preys upon. This is the reason why our people are being destroyed at higher numbers. The white man eats more pork than we do, but we have the law. And because we are disobedient to that law, we have to face judgment for being disobedient to that law. It's the same thing with the Hispanics. Because they being disobedient, they're being destroyed in the same way. They did a study, I want to say 3 months ago, about how it was blacks, Hispanics, and natives that were dying the most from this coronavirus because of the underlying disease. You understand? When you are a disobedient child, your father has to discipline you. And what's happening to us is we're being disciplined right now. And we're being disciplined, and this is the reason why we're dying in the numbers that we're dying in. This is the reason why this disease is affecting us the way it's affecting us. When the children of Israel were in captivity in Egypt, they cried out for the Most High. And what did the Most High do? The Most High destroyed their enemy. He destroyed the firstborn of their enemy. What were they doing that they weren't destroyed by the Most High? They were following his laws, statutes, and commandments. And they came back and they cried out to the Most High for help. And what did the Most High do? He delivered them. This is what we have to do. We have to cry out to the Most High for him to deliver us from our oppressor, so he can destroy our oppressor and bring us up out of this captivity. We have to cry out. You understand what I'm saying? Like the people from the tribes of Israel did. But if we don't cry out, we're gonna be destroyed right along with our oppressor. You understand what I'm saying? Let's get that article. Let's read that article. Yeah. Let's get up and see that article.
God. Maya descendants face discrimination. At its peak, the Maya civilization had one of the richest cultures in the Americas. Today, ethnic Mayas in Central America and Mexico suffer from discrimination. The rich Mayan culture. Let me see. Hold on. Slave ship. Okay. Wait a minute, it's loading up. Just tell them hold up.
Yeah, but we're gonna get into this article right here. It's talking about. Hey, listen, when we were young, did you ever watch In Search Of? When we were young.
I got it up.
Watch In Search Of, right? In Search Of, they always went into the Mayans and the Incas and the Taino Indians, and they always talked about they didn't know what happened to them, that they were, all of a sudden these tribes just disappeared off the face of the earth. Nobody never knew what happened to them. You understand what I'm saying? And I was one who always thought, like, damn, how does a whole, what's that, nation of people just up and disappear off the face of the earth? You understand what I'm saying? I never, in my wildest dreams, thought that the Mayans, the Incans, and all of these tribes went through what we went through when all of a sudden I was looking through the article, that was 2 weeks ago, I found that article, and they found a Mayan slave ship. Go ahead, read that.
Mexican archaeologists identify the first Mayan slave ship to have ever been discovered.
Check this out, right? They said the first Mayan slave ship to have ever been discovered, which that's a lot. You understand what I'm saying? Because the Mayans went through the same slavery at around the same time as the Taino Indian. You understand? Now, if the Taino Indian got captured by Christopher Columbus in 1492, now I understand they said that they started capturing them in 1830, right? Which I know that's a lie, because you can take all of these Mayans and then place them in, what's that? That's where you get, if you go ahead, read the article. I don't want to give out the information.
A diver swims near an iron skylight from the bow area of the Mayan slave ship La Union of Cesar in the Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico.
Yucatan Peninsula, go ahead.
Archaeologists in Mexico have confirmed that a shipwreck discovered off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula once carried captured Mayans who were sold into slavery. It is the first Mayan slave ship ever discovered, according to Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History.
Hold up right there, right? Now, this is the first slave ship found by Mexican archaeologists. You understand what I'm saying? The European knows what happened to those Mayans. The Mexicans didn't know what happened to the Mayans. The Mexicans didn't even know that they were in the same slavery as the Mayans. They are connected to the Mayans. And the Mexicans actually thought they were descendants of the Spaniards until they began to dig and find out that they were in the same captivity as the so-called Negro in America. And they were in their captivity before the so-called Negro in America. Go ahead, read.
Which made the announcement on Tuesday. The paddle wheel steamboat, known as La Union, was discovered by archaeologists in the Gulf of Mexico, 2 nautical miles from Cesar in 2017. But it took 3 years of research to confirm that it was a Mayan slave ship.
Now hold on right there, right? It took 3 years for them to understand that this was a Mayan slave ship. Now, if anybody knows, anytime you make an archaeological dig, everybody knows that Europeans are always the first ones on the scene when a discovery is made. The Europeans already knew that the Mayans were in slavery, in captivity, and all of that. But this was some information that they had to keep from the so-called Hispanics, because then that would mean that they had them in captivity just like they had us in captivity. They didn't want them to find out that it's a twist. You understand what I'm saying? They, just like they trying to, go ahead.
La Union illegally captured and transported about 25 to 30 Mayans monthly to Cuba, where they were forced to work in sugarcane fields between 1855 and 1861. This was during the rebellion known as the Caste War, according to INAH.
Let me ask a question, right? They said from, what's that? They said from what, 1855?
1855 to 1861.
This is a whole nation of people. And you mean to tell me they only took 30 slaves a month? 30 slaves a month. That's one slave a day. And you have a whole Mayan civilization that has totally disappeared. We know that's a lie right there. You understand? Christopher Columbus came over in 1492, and he took on one trip, what did he take, 1,100? And you mean to tell me they only took 30? That number, I know that number's not right. You understand what I'm saying? I know that number's not right. Go ahead.
Divers swim near the wreck of La Union, which carried Mayan people for slave trade in the 1850s off the coast of Cecil, Yucatan, Mexico. Each slave was sold to middlemen for 25 pesos, and they resold them in Havana for as much as 160 pesos for men and 120 pesos for women.
Is to cut sugar cane and to do all of the things that we were doing in the Americas. You mean to tell me they only took 30 a month? 30 a month. That number is way low. The so-called Mexican found out that they were in slavery, so they're not going to help them with their numbers anyway. But anytime you wipe out a whole civilization of people, they aren't even, okay, there aren't any Mayans left that say they are Mayans, but you have descendants of Mayans. And if I'm not, go ahead, because it's going to get into the descendants of the Mayans.
Each slave was sold, Salakia. I already did that part. The ship sunk on September the 19th, 1861, while en route to Cuba, proving that slavery continued despite having been abolished in Mexico in 1829 and a decree issued banning the forced extraction of Mayan people that same year. For researchers, the discovery is highly relevant. INAH said in the release, beyond the difficulty in identifying a wreck by name, it also speaks to an ominous past for Mexico that should be acknowledged and studied in terms of its context and time.
Stop right there. Right? Listen. Everything, listen, they found one boat, right? And they made it seem like they only had one boat coming back and just taking 30 Mayans a month. 30 Mayans a month. We know that's an absolute lie. But we already said that the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. We know that they destroyed the Mayan nation, just like they destroyed the nation of Judah, just like they destroyed the 12 tribes of Israel. We all the 12 tribes of Israel anyway. But they just as they destroyed us, they destroyed the Mayans. And this is the reason why half of the people from Mexico, most of the people from Mexico don't know they Mayan descendant. They got them in El Salvador, they got them in Ecuador, they got them in Honduras, they got them in all of these places. And none of these people know that they are the descendants of the Mayans. Listen, I'm going to go to Ezra chapter 9, verse 12. I'm going to read this Bible. I'm going to read this, all right? Oh, go ahead, read that. Ezra.
Okay.
Ezra chapter 9, verse 12.
Ezra chapter 9 and verse 12. Now therefore give not your daughters unto their sons, neither take their daughters unto your sons, nor seek their peace or their wealth forever.
It says, nor seek their peace or their wealth. It says, take not your daughters unto their sons, or your sons unto their daughters. Seek not their peace. Listen, every time you sit to seek their peace, this is how we are destroyed. We said it about the native Indians. This is probably the same. This is the same tactic that they used against the Mayans to get the Mayans onto those boats and to destroy them. They actually, further down in the article, it tells how they had wealthy Europeans on the top of the boat and were carrying the Mayans at the bottom of the boat as cargo. These people are partying and having fun, eating off of China and everything else on an upper deck, and then the Mayans are at the bottom of the boat in the cargo deck. You understand? When the ship sank, it said half of the crew of 80 died in that ship sinking, and all of those Mayans at the bottom of that ship died. You understand? And if I'm not mistaken, I believe they got most of the people that were on that boat off. You understand? But the whole thing is you cannot seek their peace. Every time you seek their peace, they continue to destroy us. It says, now therefore give not your daughters unto their sons, neither take their daughters unto your sons, nor seek their peace or their wealth. This is the thing that destroys us. Just like the guy with the district attorney that was speaking about the Breonna Taylor, they get a Negro on there. You understand what I'm saying? A so-called Negro on there, and they get him to give the disheartening news. And then he gives it because they're paying him to speak for them. And he's loving it because he feels like he's not involved. He's totally disassociated because he's taking their wealth, knowing that these men killed her. You understand what I'm saying? This was out and out murder, and then on top of it, they turned around and said that he was charged with wanton endangerment. And it wasn't even wanton endangerment on her, it was wanton endangerment from the neighbors, the bullets that went through the neighbor's house. Not the bullets that killed her, not the ones that hit her, 8 bullets that hit her. They're talking about something that went into the neighbor's house, and not to mention it was a European neighbor who somebody said one of them was in there, was pregnant with a child in there. You understand what I'm saying? Wanton endangerment for somebody who didn't get hit, but the person who got killed, they didn't even bring charges up on that. You understand what I'm saying? We are not to seek peace with these people. Every time we seek peace with these people, we think that, listen, Commanding General Yohana said it way before it happened. He said these police won't get off. He said that way before it happened. We wasn't even surprised here, but everybody else was disheartened. Listen, the Most High tells us we need to gather ourselves together. We need to come together with our own people. We need to take care of our own people. We need to have our own communities, just like the so-called Chinese, Japanese, the Arab, the Africans, all of them got their own communities. The Arabs, they all have their own communities. They do not come out to vote and look at them. We come out to vote and look at us. We always at the bottom. We always at the bottom because we want to intermingle. We want to make marriages with these people when these people want nothing from us but to destroy us. And just what they're doing, just what we asking for. We asking to be destroyed. When you go out and you think you voting for something, you voting to be destroyed. You voting on the next person that's going to kill you. You voting on the next person that's going to hang the noose, that's going to wrap the noose around your neck. Go ahead.
Come. That ye may be strong and eat the good of the land.
It says that ye may be strong and eat the good of the land. But when you don't own any land, how can you eat good and be strong? We don't own any land. We don't own any factories. We don't own any resources that we can build our nation off of. You understand what I'm saying? How can we be strong and live good off the land when we don't own anything? Everything that we need, everything that we want, we have to go to the oppressor for it. The oppressor poisons the food that he gives us. But we have to depend on him. Go ahead.
And leave it for an inheritance to your children forever.
And leave it for an inheritance to your children forever. How can you leave anything to your children when you have nothing? What are we going to leave our children? Public housing? An EBT card? You understand what I'm saying? A bus pass? That's the only thing that we can leave to our children. You understand what I'm saying? The oppressor has everything. How do you build a community? How do you build a nation? Well, the first way you build a nation is you have to own land. You have to own land. And then you have to have your own industry. You understand? These are the things that Commanding General Yohana is teaching us and is doing right now. You understand what I'm saying? But we're working with a limited amount of resources. The more people that come into the Isupk, the better, the bigger, and the faster we build ourselves. The more we can come out of them. You understand? It says come out from among them. You understand what I'm saying? Coming out from among them doesn't mean move into a whole new country. Coming out from among them means to come out from among their philosophy. Come out from among that Christianity. Come out from among that from that Islam. You understand what I'm saying? This is how we build a nation. The Most High says, come out from among them. When we come out from among them, then we go up under the covering of the Most High. We go up under the covering of the law, statutes, and commandments. We follow the law, statutes, and commandments, and we automatically come out from among them. This is how we build a nation. You understand? The next thing you have to do is you have to have natural resources. You understand? We gotta go to our oppressor for water. We gotta go to our oppressor for clothing. We gotta go to him for everything. We slowly pulling our people from among them. This is how you build a nation. You get up into this Isupk under the Commanding General Yohana, and we can build this nation together. We get back up under these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's how you build a nation. You understand what I'm saying? Let's go to, are we finished with that article?
You want more of it?
Not really. We don't need that. We're done with that. We can actually go to, let's go to Deuteronomy. We're going to go down to that 37 verse, 28 and 37.
Come. Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and then verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment.
It says, and thou shalt become an astonishment. Go ahead.
A proverb and a byword.
A proverb and a byword. Listen, when other nations look at us, they look at us in astonishment. They look at us in a way to say, like, what are these people thinking of? You understand? A proverb and a byword. Hands up, don't shoot. How many years have people been doing that? How many years have we been saying, you know, I am a man? You understand? We know we are men. A byword, and these other nations look at us in astonishment, like, why don't they separate themselves? Why do they continue to follow a people who hates them? The other nations hate us too. Our oppressor hates the other nations. But the thing about the other nations is the other nations separate themselves from the oppressor. What you got?
Look, was so, just a comment, was so incredible, man, is that the other nations, be like, why do these people allow us to come in their neighborhood, usurp their small and medium-sized businesses that would ordinarily go to the community's children, that would be left for an inheritance for the community so the community could continue to thrive. They are astonished by the fact that we just allow them to come in our communities, take our businesses, sell us anything without concessions. Like they don't have to donate to our schools. They don't have to make a promise to upgrade the neighborhood or keep the corner clean or keep drugs out of the store. They don't have to do any of that. They can take money from drug dealers, have it be a drug den, and sell their wares, their cheap substandard chicken boxes, which by the way, a black man invented and pushed out was the chicken box up on Pennsylvania Avenue. These people come in and they make names like Hip Hop Chicken, and we buy it in droves, and we take care of their families and give them our inheritance without even a second thought, and no one says a goddamn thing but the ISUPK.
But this is the crazy thing is too, right? Just to expound on top of that, right? They know that we can't come into their communities and do what they're doing in our community. This is where they so astounded. The astonishment is that they know that we can't come into their communities and sell, but they can come into our communities and sell. That's an astonishment. That's a byword and that's a proverb and a byword. You understand what I'm saying? Like, how can these people allow us to do something to them that we won't allow them to do to us? You understand what I'm saying? That's a byword and a proverb. That's astonishment. You understand? And we get shocked at ourselves. Because not only do they do that, but they selling you a substandard product. And you know it. And we complain under our breath and keep on buying from them. You understand? That's an astonishment. When you keep doing the same thing over again, knowing that what they're doing to you is wrong. They won't allow you to come into they won't even patronize you. They won't even patronize us. You understand? But we continually patronize them, regardless of what they're selling us, regardless of what. This is the reason why we are destroyed people. You understand? We are destroyed people. You got any more on that?
Among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee.
Among all the nations. All the nations, that's how all the nations look at us. That's how the East Indians look at us. That's how the Arabs look at us. That's how the Africans look at us. Chinese and Japanese look at us. They all look at us in the same way. You understand? We just destroyed. And eventually, we're going to realize that, especially, I don't vote, but I believe that our people need in order for us to wake up, we need for the same things that's happening now to continue to happen. We need for our people to really realize that, we've been destroyed. You understand? The way Trump is doing right now, our people need that to open their eyes up. You understand? We are not the voters. We are not to go out and vote, but these things need to happen for our people to open their eyes up. Hey, give me that second article with the Hispanic brother, the blind Hispanic brother. I believe his name is Elgato.
John, keep talking. Come on, keep talking. I'm gonna load it up.
Yeah, we have to come back to the Most High. We got to follow the laws that He command. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't, this nation of fierce countenance is going to continue to destroy us. You understand? They're going to continue to destroy us. The Most High says, how can you, he said, how can you make something straight that I made crooked? The Most High made our oppressor the way He made him for us to understand that this is a nation of people that are sent out to destroy us. It says their babies are wicked from the womb. They come out as soon as they be born speaking lies. Lies are part of their DNA. These are the people that were created to be just who they are, devils. What does devil mean? Devil just means deceiver. They have deceived everybody across the face of the earth. You understand? The difference is the deception with us is that we trust in the very person that is deceiving us. All of the other nations don't trust him. They do business with him, but they do not trust him. The Japanese, the Chinese, the Arabs supposed to have bombed the world trade. They still letting them come in and make money, but the Arabs do not trust them. You know, we are the only ones who put out everything in this oppressor. You understand? And this is the reason why this nation is thriving the way it's thriving. It's thriving like this because we put out everything into a people who hates us. If we would only put that love into our own people, this is the way we build our nation up. Taking our love away from the oppressor and putting it back into our own people. You got that?
Come, let me put it on.
But this is the reason why we are destroyed, because we need to come back to our own. We need to give that love to our own people. Did you see that Charles Barkley and oh my God, did you see the Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal thing about the Breonna Taylor? And they disgust me for real. And this is how destroyed we are. We're so destroyed that they think they're gonna lose money or endorsement, so they speaking up for the oppressor. They sit on the oppressor's lap and speak for the oppressor. Man, I'm glad people went in on them too. Because they are, what do they call them? What can I call them? It's sellouts. It's sellouts. You understand? That's the perfect example of a sellout. Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley. You got that?
Come.
Let's read that.
Blind man fails citizenship test after being denied Braille.
He was denied. Listen, he was legally blind. Go ahead, read that. Go ahead.
A blind man has been denied U.S. citizenship after immigration agents refused to provide him with an English language sentence to read in the Braille. Lucio Delgado, 23, was born and uses a cane to get around. He moved to the U.S. from Mexico 6 years ago. Mr. Delgado said he was offered a large print sentence to read, which he could not, being totally blind. Mr. Delgado, who is legally blind under Illinois state law, was told to get a doctor's note to prove his condition. Over here, I was going to get the education I couldn't get in Mexico, he told CBS News from his home on a farm in Pembroke Township, Illinois, about 70 miles 110 kilomiles, Salakia, south of Chicago. After taking the test in May, he recently received a letter from U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services informing him that he had been rejected. Unfortunately, you were unable to read a sentence in the English language.
And he said, listen, check this out, right? This is a man that's legally blind. He can't see. You understand what I'm saying? Legally blind. And they say, no, we won't give you Braille, but we'll give you a large print. Legally blind. You understand what I'm saying? Listen. Proverbs 29:2 says what? When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. It is nothing more wicked than that right there. You know a man can't see. You know he's totally blind, but you forcing him to read something knowing that he can't read it just so you can send him a rejection letter. How wicked is that? When the wicked bearers rule, the people mourn. We are in mourning right now. We are in mourning because we continue to support an oppressor that hates us. At every turn, this oppressor will destroy you in any way that he can. The oppressor will also pay your own people to go up against you and to destroy you along the way. And at the end of the day, the very people that our own people that set out to take the oppressor's money bag to destroy us, he will turn around and destroy them at the same time. You understand what I'm saying? Look at Catherine Pugh. She been destroyed. She got destroyed. After turning around and destroying us for the oppressor, they turned around and got rid of her. You understand? These are the things that happen when you stand up against the oppressor. After being on the side of the oppressor will turn and destroy you. It says what? Go ahead.
Story.
Go ahead with the story.
The letter said, regrettably, you were unable to achieve a passing score on the reading portion of the test.
Is that surprising that he was unable to achieve a passing score when he could not see? Is that surprising? He asked to read the Braille. He asked to read the Braille because he could not see. But this is how your oppressor continually mocks us. You understand what I'm saying? He continually mocks us and puts us in situations that he knows they are unwinnable situations. Go ahead.
I really wasn't expecting not to be provided that very basic accommodation, he told the Washington Post newspaper. It was quite a shocker, honestly. I was going to be someone. I was going to make my family here, and they're proud, he told CBS. He was told during the test to go and get a doctor's note to prove that he was blind, but he could not afford to do so because he does not have health insurance.
There you go. Think about it, right? He said he had to get a doctor's note, but he doesn't have health insurance, which means he doesn't have a doctor, which means he can't get a doctor's note. Listen, Deuteronomy 28 and 48. Read that.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, because we don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments. The Most High has sent these nations against us, namely our oppressor, because we didn't want to listen. And because we didn't want to listen, this is the reason why we're going through the things that we're going through. This is the reason why they set you up to fail from the very beginning. This is the reason why they're teaching your child today that there was no transatlantic slave trade, but a transatlantic migration. This is the reason why when you go to church, they tell you that, you know, all of the prophets of the Bible were white. You understand? This is the reason why when we go to when you do the things that we do, the oppressor destroys us. This is the reason why we're being pulled over in the street, we're being shot and murdered in the street. This is the reason why our women are being raped, robbed, and pillaged all throughout this whole United States, because we don't want to follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Listen, it says, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee. Go ahead.
In hunger and in thirst.
In hunger and in thirst. We got to go to the Chinese man. We got to go to the Arab. We got to go to our oppressor in hunger and in thirst. We don't own any stores, any shops we don't own any movie theaters. We don't own any supermarkets or anything that can support and sustain our own people and our own nation. Go ahead.
And in nakedness and in want of all things.
In nakedness and in want of all things. There is nothing that we can go to and serve ourselves by. We have to go to the oppressor for everything, in nakedness and in want of all things. There is nothing that we can do, that we have, that can serve our own people, that we can serve our own people. But the commanding general Yohanan is building a nation right here, right now, under this in these scriptures, under the law, statutes, and commandments in the Isupk. This is the reason why we got to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. Go ahead.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Listen, we have that yoke of iron upon our neck right now. You understand what I'm saying? Every time we go out to go to work, every time we go out to try to take care of our families, that yoke of iron is upon our necks. Every time the police pull us over, every time we are in the midst of losing jobs and everything else, that yoke of iron is upon our neck until we are destroyed. We need to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments and come back to the Most High. You understand? This is the only way we're going to get up out of the grasp of this oppressor. This is the only way we're going to come up from under the rest of these nations. These nations should be under our foot. You should know these other nations should be our footstool. Our feet should be upon them. But because we don't follow the Most High, because we're not in these laws, statutes, and commandments, this is the reason why we're being destroyed today. You understand what I'm saying? This is the reason why we can't hire our own people. Because we don't have the businesses. We don't listen to the law. We don't listen when the Most High tells us we are to take care of our own. We are to do business. We should be loaning and not borrowing. But we do all the borrowing and no loaning. The Most High tells us that. We should be the loaner. We should be the loan officer. We should be charging the rent. You understand? We should be at the banks, heading up the banks, giving out mortgages. You understand? We should be doing all of these things, but because we don't follow the law, this is why we always on the ass end of everything. You understand? This is why we are the tail and they are the head. You understand? Look at what the so-called Jew just did with the first 5 books of the Bible. He's running he has the diamond district, he has the movie industry, he has the music industry, everything that we are that the Most High gave us all the talent in the world for, he owns. Sports, music, what is that called? Technology. Technology comes from us. Everything that they find out, everything that they discover, everything that they get comes straight from us. Cell phones, lights, street lamps, everything comes from us. You understand? All the technology that's in the United States have come through us. You understand what I'm saying? But because we don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments, this is the reason why we go through the things that we go through. It says, listen, it says, a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. We are destroyed. We are a destroyed people. That iron yoke is around our neck until we can't, it is nothing that we can do. It's one thing that we can do, and that's come back to the law. That's the only thing that we haven't tried. We've tried Christianity, Islam, Buddhism. We've tried everything in the world. We've tried coming together with our oppressor, which we know we can't come together with our oppressor. This is the reason why we're being destroyed the way we are. You know? Let's go to let's go to 2 Thessalonians. Oh, matter of fact, skip that. Hold on that 2 Thessalonians.
Come.
Hold on that. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus. Chapter 12, verse 10.
Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12 and verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
It says never trust thine enemy. And that's the biggest problem with us, is we always trust in our enemy. We always trust in the oppressor. When you go out and vote, you trust him in your enemy. We already read the scripture where it says the words of his mouth are smoother than butter, but wool was in his heart. Whenever you go out and you trust in your enemy to vote, you are trusting in him to destroy you. It says, the words of his mouth are smoother than butter, but wool was in his heart. It says, trust not in thine enemy. Go ahead. For like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Think about iron, right? When you polish up iron, iron is the most beautiful thing in the world. And then all of a sudden, its natural properties begin to come through. And it begins to rust up. And that rust begins to show through. The rust is its natural property. That's the way it actually looks. And so is it says, and for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Eventually, his wickedness will show through. The real him will show through. The real oppressor will show through. For like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Eventually, his wickedness is going to come out. But hopefully, it won't be too late. And it is, sometimes, most of the time, it's too late for a lot of our brothers. A lot of our brothers and sisters end up on the dead end of the stick because we trust in our enemy so much so. Trust in our enemy so much so that it destroys whole families. You understand what I'm saying? Whenever we lose a brother or sister to the wickedness of our oppressor, it destroys us all. You understand? I can't even, most of the time, when I see a video of a police pulling somebody over, I can't even watch it for the anger that comes upon me about knowing what could possibly happen. You understand what I'm saying? We are a destroyed people because we trust in our enemies so much so. Go ahead.
Go to the next verse.
Yeah, go ahead.
Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him.
You got to take good heed and beware of him. Though he humble himself, humbling himself is only to get you comfortable. He is crouching like a tiger to pounce on you and to destroy you. There's nothing good about the oppressor. He is wicked from the womb. This is the way we are destroyed because we trust so much in our enemy. It says, trust not in thine enemy. But we do not take heed from the Most High. You understand? We do not follow the law, statutes, and commandments, and this is the reason why we destroy. Go ahead.
Come. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst whipped a looking glass.
It says, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass. You know how everything looks distorted all the way up until you wipe that looking glass, and then you see what you actually supposed to be seeing. But most of the time, by the time you see what you actually supposed to be seeing, it's too late. Think about George Floyd. Think about Sandra Bland. Think about Eric Garner. Think about all the brothers and sisters that at the last second, they wiped that looking glass and then saw the evil that was upon them. You understand what I'm saying? This is why we are destroyed people, because we trust so much so in our enemy until we find out who they really are. By the time we find out who they really are, it's too late. You wipe that looking glass and you actually see who they are, but by that time it's too late. But the Most High gives us a warning. He tells us, trust not in thine enemy. Not only trust not in thine enemy, but in Zephaniah 2:1, it says, gather together. Don't trust them, but come together with your own people. This is what we're supposed to be doing. You understand? We're supposed to be coming together with our own people and trusting in our own people and taking care of our own. But instead, we trust so much in our enemy. We let our enemy give us welfare. We let our enemy give us public housing. We let our enemy give us everything that totally destroys us. Child support, abortion, and all of these things. Pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, everything that can destroy us. Hey, you know what? I remember that thing that Tupac's mother said to him. Tupac's mother said, they're going to give you everything that you want to destroy yourself. And this is what our oppressor does to us. They give us everything that we need to destroy ourselves. When are we going to listen? When are we going to listen to the Most High? When are we going to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments? This is the reason why we need to get up here in these classes, and we need to learn, what these law, statutes, and commandments are about. A lot of us think this is religion, but this has nothing to do with religion. This has something to do with morals. This Bible is a moral compass. This Bible is laws, statutes, and judgments. You understand? You have laws and you have judgments for breaking the law. It has nothing to do with religion. It has to do with a way of life. And this is the reason why we got to come back to the Most High. We got to come back to the Most High. You understand what I'm saying? So let's jump to Job chapter 36, verse 15. And before you read that, hold up for a minute.
Okay.
Go ahead.
In the book of Job, chapter 36 and verse 15, he delivereth the poor in his affliction.
It says he delivereth the poor in his affliction. The Most High delivers us in our affliction. He delivers us in our affliction when we listen to these laws, statutes, and commandments. Regardless of what's going on around us, the Most High is going to bring us through. No matter what affliction that you're going through, the Most High will deliver you. As long as we live by these laws, statutes, and commandments, the Most High will deliver us in our affliction. Go ahead.
And openeth their ears in oppression.
Openeth their ears in oppression. Even when you being oppressed, the Most High will give you a listening ear of understanding of how to come through. Nothing is easy in this world. Even when we do come together, as we coming together, nothing's going to be easy until we come through, until Christ returns. Everything's going to be hard. But the Most High, it says, and it says, and openeth the ear in oppression. No matter what you're going through, he's going to give us the understanding about what we're going through and why we're going through it and how to make it through. You understand? He's going to give an opening ear of oppression, an in oppression. You understand what I'm saying? So this is the reason why we said we have to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. We have to come back and get some kind of understanding, and the only understanding that there is that's going to help us to get through is the law, statutes, and commandments. Our wisdom and our understanding is right here in this book. This is our wisdom and understanding. These law, statutes, and commandments are our wisdom and understanding. It says what? Cast not their pearls before swine, lest they trample them. Listen, as long as you keep giving everybody what you supposed to have, only thing we doing is casting out pearls unto swine. All we doing is giving the things that can make us stronger unto the heathen, giving us the things that can bring us out of our oppression. We just giving them to the heathen, and they ain't doing nothing but trampling on them. And the thing that they doing is they trampling on them, and then they're gonna turn and destroy us. You understand? So we gotta come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, and we gotta stop these other nations from destroying us. The only way that we stop these other nations from destroying us is coming back to the laws, statutes, and commandments. And with that, we are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, coming out of one way that we stop these other nations from destroying New York under commanding General Yohana. Been bringing this truth since 1969, and that truth is that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives are the true Jews of the Bible, and the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And with that, I'm gonna turn the class over to Priest Officer Kawan Palak.
Going on, Bmore? What's up, what's up, what's up? Let's get it in. Get it in, y'all. Hell of a class. Get that priest and officer a hand, man. Hell of a class. Security announcements, man. We are the Isupk out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister somebody has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to another brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry, tithe, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18:21 and Malachi 3:8 and 10 means 10th in the Hebrew and is pronounced Ma'asherah, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department. If you win the goddamn lottery, Negro, give that to Commander General Yohana so he can feed and take care of his people, man. If you get a little extra, you get a little extra income from your job, from the dangerous work you're doing with the coronavirus, give it to Commander General Yohana to take care of black folks, man. I know it's hard loving black folks, it is. It's hard loving black people, man, but guess what? It's an oath and it's a duty and it's something that we must do in a UPK. And that's something we must carry. Pay your tithes and do it right. So we can get it right this time and we don't have to come back and get it right in 3 more generations, bro. Let's do this for our children, man. Free will offering, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Congregation, remind Akim and Akwathim to check on social media such as isupk.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events, materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, and scarf. Next week is a Holy Congregation. We next Thursday sundown, I believe. Next Thursday sundown. You need to check online to find out about that. Baltimore is, of course, going to be hosting the feast day. So check online and find out about that. And we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, and we're going to close out the class. Men of Israel, I imagine Shabbat. I imagine Brak. Yahaba Shem Yahushabarakatah.
Yahaba Shem Yahushabarakatah.
Yazimutah. Class dismissed. Just close it. Why is it
Listen well to what I tell. No color can cause pain. Something that a rebel knows very well. Can't you tell I was sent from the Lord?